Claude Cowork and Manus both promise to do your work for you, and everyone is trying to figure out which one is actually worth paying for. Thing is, they work in completely different ways, and choosing the wrong one could cost you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what each one is for, which one you need, and whether a hybrid solution might work best. Let's start with Manus because it's got a wild story. Meta initially purchased it for $2 billion, but the Chinese government blocked the deal, and now the deal is unwinding. But you can still use Manus. The thing that really separates Manus from Claude Cowork is that it runs in the cloud. What this means is you can ask for a task to be completed, shut your laptop, go to sleep, and in the morning, wake up, and it will be complete. With Claude Cowork, everything runs on your computer. We're going to get into that more later, but there are some disadvantages to that and some advantages. So the other advantage of having Manus in the cloud is that you can run scheduled tasks. Here you can see on my calendar view, which I actually really like this calendar view. You can see every day we're doing a YouTube viral video alert, and it's basically running to come up with ideas of YouTube videos for us to create. I'm going to show you what some of those look like in just a minute. And because it runs in the cloud, they can run any time of the day and they're just going to work. Whereas with the scheduled tasks in Claude Cowork, it only is going to work while your laptop is open. I'm going to get more into that later. Let me show you an example of this scheduled task that ran. And you can see it's basically just a prompt that gets sent automatically. So this was researching the latest YouTube trends in AI and no code, analyzing outliers, and generating 3 to 5 high performance video concepts. So we can see here, it completed the work. And if we click on the document that it created, we can see specific concepts that were created. Base 44 just made every other AI app builder obsolete. Master Claude code in 10 minutes, non-coder's guide. The AI app builder nobody's talking about. I built 5 apps in 1 hour using only AI. Here's what worked. So let me know what you think in the comments. I think these are actually pretty good. And it generated key talking points as well. So these are great starting points. I wouldn't necessarily use these exactly, but it's helpful from an ideation standpoint for this. And this is something that I actually use with Manus. So I like this feature and this scheduled task. The other really big difference between Manus and Claude Cowork are the models. So in Manus, you have 3 options depending on what you pay for: light, normal, and max. Now, these might be using Anthropic models behind the scenes, but they might be using open source models, most likely, I think, behind the scenes, because they're going to be a lot less expensive. But you don't really know. You're just trusting the Manus team to put this together. Whereas with Claude Cowork, you have the Anthropic model. So you are using Anthropic's Sonnet or Opus or Fable, which I really hope by the time this video is released, Fable is back. It was only available for a few days before it got removed because of the US government, but hopefully it gets back on soon because I really enjoyed it. So if we go to the payments side of things, so pricing, that's also where things are a little bit different. So we have 3 options here, and Manus basically runs on a credit system. So you do have 300 credits coming back every day, so you can use it for some basic things, but then otherwise, it's on a credit system and the credits get used up as you use Manus. On Claude Cowork, on the other hand, you have the $20 a month plan, the $100 a month, and the $200 a month plan. And you basically have usage limits, and those usage limits get used up depending on which model you're using. So using like Opus is going to use a lot more than Sonnet or Haiku, and then using more effort as well in terms of thinking is going to affect that as well. So I would say in terms of pricing, you probably get more for your money with Anthropic's models because Anthropic's also subsidizing it. But you can do a lot with the Manus models, and they're probably using open source models in the background that are less expensive, but honestly, in many cases, just as good. So you don't always need to be using Opus for everything. Because I already have a Claude subscription for Claude Code, if you do as well, you might as well try Cowork. It's built in if you have extra usage available. And that's a big reason that I might use Cowork over Manus, is because I might want to use that Opus 4.8 for certain tasks, the more powerful model, because I have the usage and I might as well use it instead of having to pay for a separate system. So that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, the similarities are that, both tools are agentic, both can do long running tasks, Both have scheduled tasks, even though scheduled tasks with Cowork only run while your computer is awake. So that is a downside. They both have integrations to tools like Gmail or Notion or any integration you want. Basically, you're going to be able to do that. So there are a lot of similarities in terms of how they work from a productivity standpoint, but there also are some differences that you should be aware of. Now, I ran that exact same prompt inside of Claude Cowork that we did here in Manus in terms of the AI research, and it created a document. And this document is on my computer. So it's a big difference. It can be a pro or con, but everything is on our computer. So it can access the files on our computer that we give it access to. This means that this is not in the cloud. So I would have to save this to Google Drive or some other cloud service so that I would access it in the cloud. Otherwise, this is just on my computer. But it gave me similarly good results. I actually think the Manus results might be a little bit better potentially than the Opus results, but in this example, but they both are good, I think. For more on Cowork and Manus, check out our full videos on both topics, where we go more in depth about how to use these tools. Click the link in our description to subscribe to our free AI Builder newsletter. I read it every morning to see the latest news about the new models that were released, the new features that are released on tools like Cowork and Manus, and a lot more that is helpful to me as an AI builder. So click the link, subscribe for free, and I think you're going to enjoy it if you watch this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.